Hi, I'm Susie. Some people will ask me, how important is liquid to powder ratio? It's super important, and I'm going to do something crazy today to show you how important it is by building a nail without a form or without a tip. Let's get started. So before we begin, I need to remove my nail polish, and this company has sent me some acetone packaged in a very unique way. It's by Nail Aid. I love the packaging. So let's open it up. Oh yeah, that's right. She sent me a little letter. It's going to give you guys a discount with this too. This is very new. I've never seen anything like it. So they've done something very unique I've never seen before. Acetone in a spray. Usually we have it in a pump or just tip it upside down. They've got a nice little bow and they've got 3 different kinds. It's 100% leak proof and it's 2 times faster of a removal. So I'm just going to pick one and work with it today. It says 1 second, spray away. Very cool. It's also not tested on animals. Now this is Infinite Shine I have on here. And it does take a bit to come off. Ooh, but look at that, it's really taking it off. Infinite Shine by OPI. Awesome nail polish. Look at that, it just wipes away. One thing it does advertise is that it has no white residue. Anybody that works with acetone on a regular basis, you know that it dries the skin out, makes it look so white and chalky. This does not do that. Pretty cool, I like that. I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can check that out. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this acrylic nail. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to build it out again just like that with no tip or form. I'm just taking out the arch and the structure of it so I can build that back in. Okay. Now I'm going to dust all this off. Okay, so this is a crazy idea. We're going to just build this nail out without using a form or a tip or anything. We're just going to build it in midair. How do we do that? Because we're trying to make our liquid to powder ratio right on. And the reason why liquid to powder ratio is so important to get right, if we don't get it right in the salon when we're doing nails all day, it can lead to service breakdown and allergic reactions. We don't want that. Okay, there's a little dust on my jar. I don't like that. I don't like the dust anywhere. Okay. So I have got a mixture here. I've got a nice, this is not product related. This is just liquid to powder, and I didn't want to focus on product. I just wanted to focus on technique. So all I'm doing here is I've got a great brush. This is about a size 8. I like the size 8. You can see that nice tip. And I've just got my brush all nice and ready. I like brushes with caps on it because it keeps it nice and soft. You know, it's not crusty. Okay, so I'm going to go into my liquid to powder. Liquid to powder ratio is super important. And the reason being is when you get it right on, the product cures correctly. If it doesn't cure correctly, it can be still curing well after you've left the salon, and it can actually hurt sometimes. Product shrinks a little bit when it's curing. So if you're feeling a little sore with your nails a couple days after, which some people have reported, that's because the liquid to powder ratio might be wrong. And if it's wrong, it's usually too much liquid. If it's cracking and breaking, it's usually too much powder. So we are going to get a liquid to powder ratio right on here. I'm going in my powder, and I am going to put it on the end of my finger. Now I'm going to build this out lengthwise. It's just sitting there. It's just like putty. And I'm going to mold it. I've got a few seconds to do that before it starts to cure up. The point I'm trying to prove is you can control your ball so much that you don't even need a form. The form is simply just a platform to hold the product, which is good. You want it to hold the product while it's drying. Well, you need to move on to do more. We're going to have to wait in between a little bit to let this dry before we move on. See how it's building out in the length? Now, if the liquid to powder ratio was wrong, if it was too much liquid, it would be falling and just diving underneath there and dripping and causing a whole bunch of problems, and it would not stay where I wanted it. It would not be forming whatsoever. So the reason why I'm doing this without a form is to show you that the product is not falling. That's how good the liquid to powder ratio is. It's not just dropping out from the bottom here. So I'm going to collect another bead, pearl, ball, whatever you want to call it. See that bad boy? See how he's just sitting there? He's just hanging out, just waiting, waiting for me to tell him what to do. And again, notice how when I dab on the paper towel, I'm actually getting rid of liquid because I don't want so much liquid there. So I can move it out toward the free edge. So because the liquid to powder ratio is right on, it's not falling. And if it was falling, that means you would have too much liquid. You really want it to be just sitting there waiting for you to shape it. You don't want it to be rolling and moving and running all over the place. Now, if it's on the dry side, you'll find that the bead, your ball, your pearl, will just literally roll off. It won't do anything for you. It's so dry that it'll just roll off. You can't do anything with that. If you did mold that into something and it's a little on the dry side, then your nails might crack and break and almost like peel in layers, like brittle little layers. See, look at that. We're just building that right out. Okay, so I'm going to get another bead. I don't know how long I'm going to go here, but you know, maybe I'll just do what I took off. I'll just build it into that almond. Look at that pointy almond. See, there he goes. He just sits and waits. Now, if I do it too soon, he will fall. So I'm just waiting for it a little bit to just absorb all that powder and get the correct liquid to powder. And of course it's lumpy and bumpy, but that's where the filing comes in. See how it's falling a little bit? That's a little bit heavy in liquid. So I'm just going to pick it up, mold it a little bit, get rid of some of the liquid, and let it just take its moment to just start hardening and curing up. Now, obviously, when we have a form, it is helping so that you can move along a little faster. Without the form here or a tip, I'm just waiting for it to cure up a little bit before I can move on. And this really is just an exercise to show you how important the liquid to powder is. So the next bead, I'll try to do it where there's too much liquid. And I'll show you how it just falls. Okay, so I'll try to, so geared to doing the right, I just have to focus a little bit on trying to do it so it's a little bit runny. Okay, now watch that. See how that's falling down? See how it's kind of, now it's falling over the tip. Now if I push it toward the end, see how it's just falling? I don't know if you can really capture that. I'll look at it sideways. Now it's just gone. So that's what we don't want. Okay, so I'm just, I think this, let me see if I measured up to my other nail. Yep, that looks long enough. Okay, so now I'm just gonna, remember I took out the arch in the beginning when I was removing it? So now I'm just gonna put that back in there. I didn't prep it and prime it simply because I already have acrylic all the way back there. I didn't need a fill. So I'm just literally putting product on product. So now I'm just blending that arch in there. Remember I took that out of there. And I'm just going to look at it sideways. I could make the arch a little bit nicer in here, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not suggesting that you should make nails without forms. Forms are a great tool, and they allow it that we can keep building and the product's not dry yet. So we can just keep going, and it makes it a little bit easier, a little more timely. You don't have to wait. So forms are a huge advantage. So please don't misunderstand me, I'm not suggesting that. This is simply an exercise to show how important liquid to powder ratio is, and not just for building the nail, but also for surface breakdown. So when you're leaving the salon, you don't want your nails to be over-cured or under-cured. You want them to be just right. And as a nail technician, that's what we gear for. And so I'm just letting you know how important these things really are. Okay, now we're going to file that all up. I picked the darker color of pink too, so we can actually really see it. Okay, I've got my trusty Kupa file. This is a portable file. It's the Mani Passport. I really like this. Very handy, very convenient. Okay, so now it's all dry. So I'm gonna shape this thing. When I was first doing nails, they looked like a horrible mess. We used to call them turtles because they were just these lumpy, bumpy things. But over time, you get better at filing and application specifically. This kind of reminds me of those days, making sure that it's dry. And now I'm simply just going to take the time and I'm just going to shape it to match and look like this one. Okay, so I'm just going to start shaping this guy up. It up. It's one of my favorite parts. I like application. I think that's one of my favorite parts too. If I had to choose, I'd pick application over everything. Look down this way. Nose pretty happy. I'm just going to give it an overall thinning. I'm going to check underneath here. It'll be a little bit bumpy underneath because we didn't have the flat surface of the form. Trust me, I wouldn't build nails like this. I like having a form. Going to finish this. Dust! Get rid of all my dust. All my fingers. Okay, now I'm just going to top coat this. We could check out the reveal. There you go. There's how to build a nail out with no form. Just going to give it a little bit of oil in there, cuticle oil, massage it in. So there's an example of what you can do with good liquid to powder ratio, and it is really important. I'll see you guys in the next video.